Recording. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to another... Why is that shaking? Another YouTube video and podcast. It'll be not as helpful as a podcast if you guys are listening back to this, but it might still be a thing. Today we're going to be discussing the Honest Wargamer Age of Sigmar scoring app, which is... The table's genuinely vibrating, which is available on the Google Play Store right now. It's not available on Apple yet, which is fine by me, but it will be available on Apple at some point. So Lex, who is the designer, is currently in the chat on Twitch. You can join such famous people as Lex in the Twitch chat if you join us live on Twitch. So if you are watching this back on YouTube, thanks very much for tuning in. So I'm just going to be going through it, and then I think me and Lex are going to be talking about some things in the chat. Are going to be talking about some elements that we might see updated in the future, which is cool. And I'm going to talk about why I think it's important to have something like this. So let's just jump straight to it. Then it's easier to talk about. So as you can see, this is a mirror of my phone. Thank you to Karaz Kanak. I said the same thing, Lex, about Apple. Good. Thanks for joining us for the first time. And Archeon's Chosen, thanks for resubbing. Hello. So there we go. So as you can see, I've already got one. I've already got one locked in here. I've actually cut off part of the UI, so I'm going to change that around now. I've just realised because you guys need to see the bottom of the app, and you can't for some reason. So that's a. Oh no, you can. All right, give me a second. I'll fix that for you guys. I'll let you guys be able to see all of the app. There we go. Right, okay, so as you can see, this is how it works. Now, it's pretty simple at the moment, and it's pretty basic, and it doesn't look super fancy, but it doesn't need to look super fancy. Lex has done an amazing job. Shout out to Lex, a hobby hero. So first thing you do is you go on here, and you put in your player details, and I quite like this element. You can just change how it looks, which is such a little basic thing, but I really like that. I thought it was good. I chose red. Download latest game data. If you do happen to have, download it and it doesn't have the game data in, just click download latest game data. It's called HWG Plus. HWG Plus. That's what it is. So as you can see, Rob, and there's my name, Rob. I'm a club. Honest Wargamer. And there's my accent colors. Now, some stuff, we'll talk about these bits in a minute because they're not there right now. But the main thing, the reason you'll download it is for this. Yeah, your ability to track your single games with your friends, like I did last night, or to add tournaments, right? But that's not available at the minute, so, or not something we've put in right now. So let's do a new game, shall we? It's really simple. Oh, actually, let's look at our game. Let's look at my game with Nathan. So this is what you get at the end of a game. Which is really great, and it's really, 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 really nice for tweeting, which is really what life is about. If War Scroll Builder didn't kick out a list that you couldn't tweet, it would be useless. It would be useless. And also, again, shout out to Tony P. It's all about the ability to screenshot and tweet. Yeah, that's all it's about. We're going to talk about why having an app is really important in the future. And we're also going to shout out some other ways you can record your games. Specifically, we're going to talk about weird knobs. It's a different conversation. Anyway, so as you can see here, me and Nathan were actually both playing Uruk War Class. I played Iron Jaws and Iron Sons. It was actually a really interesting match. We played the Vice, as you can see up here. So it's got all the battle plans in. You can put a note, like it was a tournament or it was a practice game or something here happened, something here happened. So are you saying this helps to tweet to save lives? We tweet to save lives, Wolfen Studios, you know that. It's the only reason we tweet. We tweet to live. Screenshots are the best way to record your list. They are, unless you're submitting them on BCP. Don't do it via a screenshot or a photo. Right, so the Vice is really, really useful. A really great game. We had a really fun time. It really probably came down to the priority roll in turn 3 who got it. We were both just eyeballing each other across the way. But as you can see here, we basically kept track. He did Ferocious Advance. I did Ferocious Advance, a Monstrous Takeover, Bring It Down. But then he won the priority into 3. And as you can see, he went for Broken Ranks. He took out one of my objectives. He got some bonus points there. Bring It Down, Broken Ranks. And then in the final round, Nathan got Squish the Puny Gits, which is an Iron Jaws battle tactic, and I had only one War Chanter left, who was unable to do anything and kill anything, so I got no points, so it ended up 25-14. If we look at the app in more detail, or if we come out of here and we do a new game, if we do a new game, real simple, as you can see, there is no other options at the minute. We're doing Gur. I quite like the idea, and Lex has been really good with the data fidelity, so it's got everything in. Unlike unless anyone can point me to it, the Games Workshop app, this is really important. Don't forget there is no information on this. You should probably use the Games Workshop app in conjunction. I don't know where, and this is a question for all of you, I don't know where the battle tactics, the allegiance-specific battle tactics for Stormcast and Iron Jaws and all the White Dwarf ones are in the app. Are they in the app? Is a question. That would be good. Out of how many? Games Workshop app doesn't have the fucking tactics. Doesn't, and I unlocked it. Oh, okay. All right. Looks like we're going to be tweeting to save lives, boys, later. Like, we're going to get on... We're going to be sassy Twitter bitches later. Okay, we got this. We got this as a crew. Saturn Boy with the fucking great joke in the chat. Strange. I've actually been developing a very similar app and sent Robert Devers 6 months ago. He never mentioned he was working on an app. He said he hasn't looked at my app in weeks. Curious. So you sent me the app and I just put it on my shelf and I thought no more about the app, basically. Anyway. Well done to Lex again. This is all Lex. None of this is me. I'm just showcasing it. This is just Lex in the community who built it for the rest of us. He's a legend, yeah? It is called the Honest Wargamer Plus, which is super lovely of Lex to let us, have the name. And he built it for us because I was bitching about it all the time. And maybe Lex just listens to the show a lot and can't stand me bitching a lot. But he's just so good. I saw a monthly updates to battle tactics come in, so a neat future I'm proud of. I can update the battle tactics grand strategies without you all having to download an update in the store. Look at that from Lex in the chat. Hey Rob, chat by the way. Hey, call me Quinn. I wanted to do something about the community. This is it. Lex, you're a superstar. Anyway, so are we using so some events might be like no faction battle tactics and grand strategies. Can't have that on. So turn that off. Are we using Core 3 battle tactics and grand strategies? You can have that on and off, so it's just from the mission pack. And what battle plan are we going to play? They're all in here. Should we play something? Let's do Savage Gains. Oh, no, not Savage Gains, because I don't think it's... We'll just do the Vice, because I remember how that works. And then notes. Let's do this. Oh, no, where do I type the notes? Oh, it's on my phone. So, test. Okay. Hold on. We'll make it like it's a test 1 V1 final. Anyone who's ever done anything will exactly 100% know what I've mean by that. There was a 90s TV series in the UK at like 2 a.m, which was like almost pornographic sci-fi. Wait, what are you talking about? You're talking about Lex? Oh, Lex the TV show. It was not Lex the TV show that created this. Test on final V3. Anyway, so obviously Rob, let's play Lex. So we're playing him. My faction, I'm going to take Blades of Corn. And unfortunately, my grand faction will be Bloodlords. And my grand strategy will be Pillars of Belief. And then Lex's faction could be Nighthaunt. And then, does it have the Nighthaunt? And he's done it. What a genius. I tested him there, and then Beastmaster, and he started the game. And then you get this. And this is actually really important. We'll talk about this in a minute. Priority, who gets to go first? Lex has got 1 drop. Well done. He took the priority, and he gave me the first turn. And you choose your battle tactic, and as you can see, they're all in here based on who they are. Aggressive expansion. Let's go for that. I slow a monster. My battle tactic was completed. So that's 3 points, and I held 2 or whatever, so that scores me 5. Anyway, you go through all of this, and as you can see, the results at the bottom, you let me know whether or not you achieved your what the hell, oh god, your grand strategy. That's what they're called. And then you're done, and you get an event result like the thing I showed you previously. Okay, really simple, really easy, really helpful. Now, why is this good? Okay, so I've already organized a bunch of Age of Sigmar events. Yeah, I've already organized a bunch of Age of Sigmar events myself at the TSN Arena, and obviously I've already been to a bunch as well. One of the most common things that we end up seeing is one of the most common things we end up seeing is a lot of people needing some way of tracking the data. Now, we at the Honest Wargamer hosted on the Honest Wargamer site, thanks to Adam who did this for us, we created a printout that you could have. Yes, Alexa, we'll 100% sort that out. We'll sort that. So I'm going to, obviously in the show notes, I'm going to include a link to the app, as well as, yeah, I'm going to include a link to the app and some other bits for you guys to go and find. I'll also include a link to Lex's Twitter, so if you want to get at him about anything or just like send him presents, you should. But let me just go through this different stuff. So previously we would have a printout that we would do, and then the really great guys at the Weird Knobs. So I'll just show you. Give me a sec. So Weird Knobs is a gaming group down in Texas in America, and they have taken the original sheet that we did. The original sheet that we did, they had a reference sheet that they created as well, and they've created a better sheet probably. I know that looks a bit convoluted, and there's lots on there, but that was done by the guys at the Weird Knobs, and you can find those at weirdknobs.com, and I'm going to share that. So if you don't want to use the app for some reason, and I'm going to talk about why I would prefer you did in a minute, those guys have created a really nice printout that you can do. You can print out several hundred at home. Like you could print out several hundred at home, but you are using paper. And also, are you going to keep these? You're not going to keep these. I've got my first one from Age of Sigmar 3 actually on the wall over there, which is quite cool. So that's quite a nice thing. If you want to, like, you know, make yourself a scrapbook for the year, that's really cool. You could do that. But let's talk about some of the great things that will be able to happen if we all start using the app, because that's actually really important. And again, if we look at this, we'll go back to the app. As you can see here, we've got a couple of different things, specifically the meta. Now, a lot of the ways that we grab information at the moment for Age of Sigmar is specifically Rob and Ziggy and the rest of the stats crew just take it from Excel spreadsheets or BCP or whatever that is, and then we gather all that information. This is all great, but when is the Nathan anime coming to Honest Wargamer Plus? Soon. Soon. Also, shout out to Age of Something in the chat as always. So what we'll be able to do is track people's games. The important thing that we don't track at the event level is obviously things like who went first, who won priorities, and we might be able to get some incredible data if we use this at events. For example, we could be like, oh, actually, at this event, everyone played the Vice. We have 100 people or 50 people at this event playing the Vice. And it turns out that there was a sharp increase in wins. 70% of the wins were all in turn 3 for the person who won the priority role, right? On turn 3, turn 4, right? Really useful stuff that the app will eventually be able to give us, which is fun. Yeah. So again, what we'll be able to do is better learn stuff about battle plans and other stuff. And as we've seen, Games Workshop have actually started to do some work on their games. We've seen the data say. I've heard that the balance patch for Age of Sigmar is pretty significant. Pretty significant. Kragnos gets a ward save. So other than that, so Kragnos stonks up. But other than that, it's going to be pretty significant. And what's great is the more data that we create, the less that they can ignore the data. Does that make sense? That like it's better and healthier for the community, because this is just the information that comes in, right? Which is really, really good. If you can submit directly via the app, how do you check it was real result and not someone artificially boosted in Sentinels because he wants them to be nerfed? Okay, so Prop Joe, really good point for that is in here, if you go back and look, when you create a game, there are tournament games and there are singles games, right? So what you'll be able to do, like you can just always pass out the singles game. So if someone just wants to be a dick, yeah, you just don't include singles games, right? Like, that's really easy. Then you just use the tournament game data and put that in there, and then it's easy. Now, it's going to take a lot to get a lot of people to use this, of course, right? And then it's probably not going to be as relevant as the main stats is, but it does solve a problem which most of us have. You go to a game with your friends, and you need to track results. So it's already done that. Lex has already been incredible, and he's already done the one thing that we need, right? Right? Like, so it's already good, yeah? Like, it's already done the thing that we need, which is tracking our games, because it's quite complicated. Like, they're complicated, right? This is a lot of information to put in, which is why you end up with things it's why you end up with stuff like this, right? It's why you end up with this sort of stuff, like these printout sheets that we need, because we need them for Age of Sigmar now, right? And so, you know, this app is really good. Now, another cool feature is, of course, there's the meta stats for everything that's happening in the world, but also, boom, player statistics. Now, I'm excited about this because some of you love to know how good you are, right? And here's some sweet-ass player statistics that you'll be able to create for yourselves, which, again, will be a printable sheet. You can be like, I've played Beasts of Chaos 17 times, says Colonel Cabbage. I've won 3 games, and I'm a legend, right? Player stats are cool. Actually, like, if you play a lot, I win this many games with Khorne, but I only win this many games with Lumineth, right? You know, like, you might have that in there. We don't know what that looks like yet, of course, right? We don't know what that app looks like, of course, yet. But I know Lex is, and if anyone wants to help Lex out as well, like if there's someone who's like a UI designer or something, again, it's free. Like, Lex is designing and it's free. I'm just touting it for everyone because it solves a problem we as a community need something to do, right? That's it. It's a free thing to make the community better. Like War Scroll Builder was initially by Tony P. Like, yeah, it's just like, and it's like, you know, so a huge thank you to Lex for doing it. All right, chat, time for you to tell me what you think. Oh, player stats is a great idea as well. Love that. I love that. I just love that. I just want to know that I've lost to Nathan 143% of the time, which is definitely going to happen. Will there be a game history option? It could just show. Here's your opportunity to throw some ideas in the chat. It could show some armies of final VP, for example, or just a samurai. Game history option could show armies and final VP, for example. Did you, Greg, see the game? Do you see this one? The one I tweeted out? Is this what you mean, or do you mean something different, like this? Yeah. So big shout out to Lex in the chat. And do give him a follow on Twitter, and I will include his Twitter in the show notes. Will there be a way to change your results after the fact to make yourself look better? I like this. Came in late. What's the name of that? It's HWG Plus. There's a link, I think, in the chat. It's only available on Android at the minute. And now I know some of you will be disappointed, but again, it's just a community project to make the community better. Very much like the Weird Knob score sheet was. And they put that together. So again, I'm going to link that in the show notes if you just want to print that out. If you've got an Apple phone at the minute, you've got an Apple product. One of the things also I find, now, this isn't me being like, because we all know I'm broke, so don't get ahead of yourselves here. But picking up a cheap Android tablet phone, isn't a lot of cash, I would argue. I generally use my phone a lot. I don't know about you guys, but I quite often when I go to a Warhammer game, I'll end up taking a battery pack and a charger because I'm normally looking up war scrolls and stuff on my phone, as well as tweeting pictures and never replying to DMs, apparently. So those things, that's what I'm constantly doing. So there's that, or you could just get yourself a separate phone for keeping track of not a whole phone, but like they're pretty cheap. There's some like cheap knockoff ones. Anyway, hey Tristan, can I have the app automatically send Nathan my Gits wins? There may be a way to have the app tweet Nathan if you win with Gits. I don't know how that would happen, but we should try and fix it. Can use my can use my porn phone for it. What's the design say? With tournament name matches, you get lists and so on. What's the desire for, say, including tabletop tournament organizer, player account link with tournament name matches, you get lists and so on. Maybe like that works long term. It's Thundergore. Like that could potentially be something that goes in. I mean, I don't think it would be terrible if it also like did pairings as well. Now that's not because I want it to do pairings. I don't want it to take over BCP. I don't want to do anything else. Initially, what Lex has created is something so we can track our games of Age of Sigmar. You can also do something similar, I'd like you to know, on BCP, on the web app. There's a scorecard. There might even be a scorecard on BCP available. I think. I'm not sure. I think there might be, but I'm not sure there's one for tracking individual games, but there might be. So that's something to be fair. But things like Tabletop TO, which is a great website, there is. Thank you, Ronin. So there is. There you go. So as Ronin has said in the chat, so you can also already use BCP to do this as well, if you want. And then BCP is a great pairing app for tournaments. So can the app tell me how I should play? Nope. Listening to the show also won't help you learn how to play, so I would take that off those list of things you think you're going to get from this show. There we go. So it just gives you a bunch of options. The thing that's nice about it is, anyway, it's great. It's great, and you guys let me know what you think. And I quite like it being in the marketplace, even though it's free. Because it really pushes other things to develop. What we really want, just like everything has pushed stuff to develop, right? Like the more live streaming I do, the more people think it's a good idea and they set up their own live streams, yeah? And then that's like competition. The more people step up the quality of their YouTube content, the more everyone else has to step up the quality of their YouTube content. Like everything has to just get better. And all that happens is the Warhammer community, not the marketing department of Games Workshop, but the Warhammer community is in you people, get a better like product, and as you guys have seen, I talk about this a lot. Talk about it in tournaments. I've talked about the price of tournaments, the quality of tournaments, terrain. Like it's something I'm invested in, so it's like better, right? We want better Warhammer for the next generation, the kids. What do you think of the kids? Anyway, put a chest cock in for maximum triggering for certain opponents. That's good. That's work. We should put TikTok links in. Okay. Just Wargamer is for the children. Anyway, download the app. Have a great time. Thanks for tuning in. If you are a thug and you're listening to this back and you've enjoyed it, if you haven't pressed like and subscribe, you're a monster and no one likes you anymore. If you do press it, though, nothing but good things will happen to you in your life. Please send to 5 friends. Thanks for tuning in if you are a podcast homie, a Hydra homie. And if you are one of the people on the Honest Wargamer Patreon, genuinely couldn't live without you. Your support is invaluable. So big love. Take care of yourself. See you soon.